The Alpha was old. His fur shimmered silver under the twin suns. His claws had carved empires. His eyes had seen centuries of war and peace alike. Yet he did something no one expected. He left his cubs, not with his own kind, not in the safety of their clan, but with humans. The humans were simple creatures, small and fragile. Their world smelled of metal and smoke. They lacked claws, fangs, or natural armor. Yet the Alpha chose them. He left instructions. The cubs were to be raised with care, with patience, with love. And then, when the time came, they were to return. The humans were terrified. They had seen the Alpha's kind before, towering predators, masters of war. Yet the cubs were small, fragile, only fluff and bright eyes. Still, the humans obeyed. The first cub, named Kira, was bold. She climbed walls taller than herself. She pounced with precision no human could match. But she was playful, curious, gentle. She followed the humans like a shadow, learning from their hands and voices. The second, Vax, was quiet. He studied. He watched. He remembered every pattern, every rhythm. He learned the humans' ways, how they moved, how they spoke, how they built things from nothing. He learned patience, strategy, and the subtle power of knowledge. The third Zin was reckless, always testing limits, always daring the humans to stop him. He learned resilience. He learned strength in survival. He learned how to take risks and protect those he loved. The humans fed them. They nurtured them. They trained them as best they could, even though no human had ever raised a creature so powerful. They spoke to them, played with them, guided them. Years passed, the cubs grew. Claws sharpened, muscles coiled like springs. Eyes glimmered with intelligence. They remembered the Alpha's lessons. They remembered the humans' kindness. And they remembered their mission. Then came the day of return. The Alpha's empire was vast, his enemies numerous. The humans feared the day the cubs returned. They feared the wrath of what they had nurtured. But the cubs did not come for war. Not at first. They came with strategy, with insight, with unity. Kira leaped on to the high walls of the Alpha Citadel. Her eyes scanned the horizon. She signaled. Vax had already calculated every path, every trap, every guard. Zin had gathered allies. The Alpha's enemies did not know the humans had trained the cubs. They did not know the strength, the cunning, the loyalty the cubs had learned outside the clan. The first skirmish began at dawn. The Alpha's foes thought to overwhelm. They underestimated. Kira struck like lightning. Vax orchestrated every move. Zin led charges that broke ranks. The humans watched, hearts pounding. They had feared for years that they had raised monsters. But now they saw creatures of honor, of intelligence, of discipline. The battle ended before it could truly begin. The enemy surrendered. They had never seen such coordination, such strategy, such ferocity controlled by minds not their own. The Alpha watched from his throne. His eyes were proud. His cubs had grown beyond expectations. Not only had they survived the human world, they had mastered it. They had returned as legends. The cubs did not stop there. They did not simply claim the empire. They rebuilt it. They integrated humans into the clan. They taught their people the lessons they had learned. Strength could be guided by wisdom. Power could be tempered with compassion. Loyalty could be nurtured in more ways than fear. The humans became advisors, teachers, strategists. They were no longer small, no longer fragile. They were partners, allies, friends. Together, the cubs and humans led the Alpha's empire into an era none could defy. The Alpha's enemies were gone, his allies strengthened, and the humans, who had once been overlooked, became indispensable. The Alpha knew then that he had made the right choice. Sometimes, the strongest warriors were not born in claws and fangs alone. Sometimes, the strongest warriors were raised with care, with patience, and with the quiet strength of love. The cubs never forgot. They never forgot the humans who had raised them, who had shown them a new kind of power. They honored them. They protected them. They led with them, and the Alpha. He smiled. His legacy was not only in the empire he built, but in the hearts he entrusted to humans. When the cubs finally took the Alpha's seat, it was not with arrogance. It was with wisdom. The humans stood beside them, no longer fearful, no longer small, no longer overlooked. Together, they became a force none could defy. Years later, tales spread across galaxies. Creatures of immense power had been raised by humans. They returned, stronger, wiser, unbeatable. Legend spoke of the Alpha's cubs and the humans who nurtured them, and everywhere the stories traveled, one truth was clear: strength alone is not enough. Intelligence alone is not enough. True power lies in care, in teaching, in trust. And when an Alpha trusts humans with his legacy, the universe itself must take notice. The cubs grew. The humans thrived. The empire flourished. The Alpha had chosen wisely. The cubs had returned, and none could defy them. Asterisk.